Valley Talk on News Talk 1580 KGAL.
And on Valley Talk today, as usual on a Tuesday, we have John Gibson. John, glad to have you with us on Valley Talk on this special day.
How you doing?
Good. Normally you talk to us about investment issues and monetary issues, but today is Patriots Day, the day that we remember what happened on 9/11. Now, I understand in the past that you went back east, back to where 9/11...
It all came about because of Shelley Garrett. Shelley Garrett was a salesperson at the radio station at the time. She could sell ice to an Eskimo. She's great at it. She's now the executive director of the Chamber of Commerce. But she got me into a private tour of the stock exchange after 9/11. No one was allowed in, but because I was a radio somebody, I guess, I got the credentials and I got in. And this girl, it was a private tour of this woman, and she described what we were talking about the stock exchange, but quickly it became a talk about 9/11. And she mentioned how, on that day, her parents thought that the stock market was in the trade center, and they thought that she was dead. And because there was no cell service, she had to walk home like 45 blocks until they finally found out that she was alive. So I'd never been there before, so I left there in my suit and tie, because you had to wear a suit and tie, and I stumbled upon the Trade Center site, and I wound up in it. I joined a tour, and later on I walked up to the tour lady, and I said, I do a radio show in this little tiny radio station in Oregon, and we don't get to hear anything that really happened. And this woman, for the next hour and a half, just took my breath away. It was so emotional. There was a couple of things to say about it first. It was a Tuesday, of course, just like today, and it was an election day. And so a lot of people were late to work because they were voting. The CEO of Cantor Fitzgerald, a big investment firm, he had one of the top floors. He was the only one that survived, and out of 11 people
And
perished.
did he survive because he was late for work?
He was late. He was voting, and the guilt that he felt later on was just, I seen him on TV, and he just couldn't talk about it. But and now there's
imagine what that's like. I've never been there, but to know that you were just a few steps behind where you should normally have been, and if you'd been on time, you would no longer be here.
Yeah. It's the saddest thing. 99.9% of the people below impact got out alive. One person had a heart attack. That's what skewed it. Nobody above impact got out. The elevators were in the middle of the building, so when the plane went in, it knocked out the escape routes. And then, you don't hear about the things like, when the firefighters first got there and were going up and pulling out people, it became apparent really quick that they had to pair up. And one person had to go out and look up in the air and make sure that somebody wasn't falling down
out of the sky.
Because that was the biggest threat at that point to the firefighters. And so this woman, her brother was a firefighter, and he had a body on his shoulder, and his partner went out, and the partner looked up, and he goes, "Come on out," and he turned around, and the building was gone, and so was his teammate. Later on, they got a piece of his finger, was all they got. Now, I was there in 2006. On that Wednesday, they found human remains it's called a Deutsche Bank. It's a German bank. And they found human remains on the outside window well in 2006. That had been there for 5 years. And some family got a call,
Because they did a DNA test.
And they identified who it was, There's pictures everywhere. You know how you say don't talk to strangers? Part of the memorial has all these pictures of people, and it's like, if you see this person, take them home,
So this was a real emotional time for you to go back there.
Yeah, it was it really woke me up, I mean, I got mad. The building where they want to build the mosque, a nose gear section went through that ceiling. That should be sacred ground. We don't need a mosque there. That's just my opinion. But, And there's this little tiny cemetery. If you ever get a chance to go to New York, go. It's in lower downtown, lower Manhattan. There's this little church that George Washington attended. And there's these little cemetery plots all around it. There's this little tiny church that's never been redone, right at the bottom of the towers. And it was spared. Nothing happened to that building.
Miraculously.
Miraculously. Yeah. When you look at that, you think, boy, maybe there's something bigger than what I've been thinking about,
It's a day when the announcement was made about Pearl Harbor being bombed, December 7th, a day that will live in infamy, was what President Roosevelt said as he addressed the nation. 9/11 goes down in the record books as very much the same day, and we all remember what we were doing when we heard, I was driving down the road, and I was engineering for a station. They said, turn around, come back. We need to get news on every station we have, even the music stations. And I said, what happened? Well, somebody just crashed a plane into the Pentagon. I said, are you sure? It was just disbelief.
Yeah, I know. And you think about those people on the Pennsylvania plane when they finally figured it out. Boy.
That's just almost too much to comprehend.
Yeah. Now, I try not to get too emotional about this stuff, but so the buildings, each floor was an acre of area, and there was close to 200 floors, right? I don't know exactly how many, but it was close to 200. So you had 200 acres of debris on each footprint of the building. The people that came in to help, it was so hot that the soles on your work boots would melt. And so when the volunteers and the firemen would come in for their lunch, rather than eat, they would walk 2 or 3 miles to their car because they couldn't park anywhere close to the site to get extra boots and stuff for other people. If somebody's boots got ripped, somebody would go, I got a pair in the car. And he would go, and they'd save a sandwich, and he'd eat on the way back to the spot. And, so you can have all your rock fans, and you can have all your sports people. Those are my heroes. And I want to tell their story.
It's amazing. You look at almost any fire engine in the United States, including the ones here in Albany, and it's usually have some kind of 9/11 decal on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they had a big wall, of course, for one of the fire departments, all etched, beautiful done. The whole fire department crew was killed. The sphere, there was this big sphere in between the towers, and it was all smashed and crumpled, right? Mm-hmm. Well, it's now in Battery Park. And Battery Park was where they took all the debris, and they extended Battery Park out into the Hudson River or whatever, whatever that particular area is called. So they extended the park out. That sphere is out there. And once they complete everything, they're going to bring it back just the way it is and put it back. I think that's great. As
part of the New World Trade Center.
Right. And it's well over half done, I believe. But they were building on it when I took Judy back, I think it was 2 years ago, maybe a year ago. Just thought it was important for her to see it. And the new tower is, at least half built, if not more. And, it's going to be a beautiful sight.
Now, obviously, it's been several years since 9/11. We as Americans have a tendency we have short memories. We have a tendency to forget things that go on with life. What do you think people are thinking about today as we're remembering 9/11? Do you think the memory is kind of faded, or what do you think the general tone of attitude is today?
I think most people still take it really personal. I mean, I was a Democrat on September 10th. I woke up September 11th, and the Cole had been bombed. All of these embassies in Nairobi had been bombed, and nobody seemed to do anything. Now they knocked down those 2 beautiful buildings, And actually, to be real honest, New Yorkers never liked the Twin Towers. They always said it was the box that the Empire State Building came in. That was their little side joke. But I don't know. I think the attitude today is that we're getting more complacent, and we just accept the fact that now we have to go through a full body scan at the airport and have little 12-year-old girls who have never been kissed, patted down by somebody that's not even a relative. I just think that the more that we give away for our convenience, the more liberty that we lose. And I think that, I think right now, currently, we have a president who, he really likes the drone strikes, and that's fine. I don't begrudge any person that wants to harm me or my country. I'll pay for the drone. But it doesn't seem like we did a very good job in Egypt. Even though they were bad people, they were people who recognized the right of Israel to exist, and they also saw that the Muslim Brotherhood was a very, very not nice group, and now we have the Muslim Brotherhood, and we're going to see Iran and Israel's going to strike Iran. I don't know when, but everybody's talking about it. Netanyahu, I respect the man. I apologize, I can't pronounce his name, but he's a great man. I wish he was our president. But he's made it very clear that these are the grandchildren of the people that went through the Holocaust. I am not going to allow them to experience what their grandparents experienced. How can you do anything but say we're on board 120%, but we don't?
I've got a question for you. I'm looking at a picture on the internet now. There's a young man and his daughter walking among something called a healing field in Tempe, Arizona. Volunteers have set up 2,996 American flags for the annual memorial they hold in Tempe, Arizona. One flag for each person who died in the attacks on the World Trade Center in New York City, the Pentagon in Washington, D.C., and Pennsylvania in 2001. So 2,996 American flags, a flag for every person, and it's a picture of them walking through those flags with his daughter explaining what they're all about. Do we need to do more stuff like that, you think?
Oh, I think we should make memories. I know that I taped, there's a show on TV, I don't know the channel, but it was about 9/11, and I'm going to make Judy watch it with me. You got to put it out there and say, there really are people that want to hurt you. You got to be aware of this. And, the best offense is a strong defense. I mean, I just believe that what we're doing to our military, what's about to happen to our military, is shameful. If these cuts go through, these automatic, set cuts, no debate. If they go through, our military will, why would you cut the pay to somebody fighting for your country, for God's sakes? I'm not a veteran. I don't have a dog. I do have a dog in the fight. This is my country. Mm-hmm. I have a little girl now that I'm responsible for. I want a strong military, and I think that we're moving in the wrong direction. I think people think that it won't happen again.
So when we come back here on Valley Talk, yesterday I went out on the streets of Albany with a microphone and tape recorder, and I'm very interested in what you think as a resident of Albany or resident here in the Mid-Willamette Valley about 9/11, what it means to you. What do you think about when you know that it's Patriots Day and remember what happened on that fateful day? So we'll return with those comments here on Valley Talk in just a moment.
When you look out across Willamette Valley, you'll see plenty of banking choices. But we're here to give you an option that's pretty unique, like no other in fact. Hi, I'm Dave Wood, President and CEO of Willamette Community Bank. We provide an alternative to large national and regional banks by offering customized financial services and local decision-making to benefit local people, local families, and local businesses. How many banks can say that? Willamette Community Bank, service like no other, we promise. Member FDIC.
Pride. It's that simple. Now that's a motto that most everyone can relate to. It's the way Flowers & More has operated their business since 1991. Impress your special someone or decorate that special event by picking out a beautiful bouquet of roses or flower arrangement that is fresh and arranged with pride. Flowers & More is an FTD florist that ships anywhere. They deliver locally and are easy to find across from Pops at 740 Southeast Madison in Albany. Call Flowers & More, 541-928-8285. It's that simple.
Do you suffer from bleeding gums, loose teeth, or bad breath? Dr. Dennis Clark can help. With gently applied laser light, bacteria are killed and diseased tissue removed, which means less inflammation and a fast, comfortable return to firmer teeth and a normal routine. Dr. Clark has been gently caring for his Mid-Valley patients for 25 years.
Hello, this is Dr. Dennis Clark. We do offer a full range of services: smile makeovers, oral surgery, and Invisalign wireless braces. But you don't have to leave your favorite dentist to get this amazing solution to your gum problem. I will gladly work with your dentist to help you with your gum problem without changing dentists.
Dr. Clark's skillful use of laser periodontal therapy will dramatically help. Bleeding gums heal, loose teeth tighten, the bone even grows back. For a free consultation about the no-cut, no-sew, no-fear solution for infected gums, loose teeth, and bad breath, call the Laser Dentist. Dr. Dennis Clark in Lebanon at 451-1440. 451-1440.
Join your friends and family in the Seroptimus Walk for the Cause Run for a Life event. Funds raised help provide detection, treatment, and support services for breast cancer and other diseases affecting women. Register today as an individual walker or runner or as part of a team. Sponsored by Samaritan Cancer Program, ATI Pacific Cast Technologies, Bassard & Sons Custom Canvas Works, and Flakeboard.
This is Ryan the Lion with KGAL and KSHO, and we're proud to sponsor the 2012 Seroptimus Walk for a Cause Run for a Life. Join us for a live remote broadcast from the big event, Saturday, October 6th.
P.S. We Love Seniors was created to give the seniors in our lives the opportunity to live in an actual home, enrich their lives with activities, and have all their medical needs met, even if they had dementia and Alzheimer's. In the 5 homes we own in Corvallis and Albany, we pride ourselves in taking extraordinary care of all of our residents. So if you or someone you know is looking into in-home care, assisted living, or memory care, be sure to call P.S. We Love Seniors at 541-223-3681 for a tour and see how different senior care can be.
Yard work. Some people love, most people hate it. Now get help that's affordable. Gonzalez Yard Care is not your typical mow, blow, and go corporate operation. Weeding by hand? Yes. Work by the job, the season, or year-round? You bet. Even handyman work as needed and senior discounts. With Gonzalez Yard Care, you get what the big guys offer and a lot more. Call today for a free estimate. Gonzalez Yard Care at 541-926-1412. 926-1412.
Get started, get finished at Lynn Benton Community College.
After losing my job, I needed retraining for a career that was more stable. At LBCC, the positive support and open doors provided me the tools to build a foundation for my new career.
It taught me, most importantly, how I learned best. I would not be prepared to go to a four-year university without my previous experience at Lynn Benton Community College.
Get started, get finished at Lynn Benton Community College. Find out more at lynnbenton.edu.
The news you need, smart talk, and just enough sports. That's what you'll get from News Talk 1580, KGAL.
What goes through your mind as you wake up? It's Patriots Day and everybody's talking about 9/11.
Well, I don't really know what to think because I was a little kid when it happened, and now it's kind of confusing.
Why?
Well, I mean, I don't know how legitimate they are, but I've heard conspiracy theories about the fact that, you know, there's not really any evidence of planes actually being at the crash site in Pennsylvania or at the Pentagon, and then the fact that planes shouldn't have been able to tear down the Twin Towers like that. I mean, there have been planes crashing into other buildings before, but they've just set fire to a couple of floors. Buildings are built to withstand that kind of force, and they just free-falled like something like a demolition, and it's just confusing. Because I do think that terrorists, you know, are out to get America and so on, but you know, I don't know what happened because I'm not necessarily going out and saying the government did it, but you know, I think there's questions that don't have answers.
11th anniversary of 9/11. Do you remember where you were on that day?
Yes, I owned and operated an adult foster home, and I remember my husband's cousin called us on the phone and said it was like 5:30 in the morning, and she said, turn on your TV, and so I went out in the middle of the living room and turned on the TV, and we sat there probably for 2 hours, 3 hours, just stunned. Just sat in the living room. It's like just total shock.
What goes through your mind today?
it seems like it's been forever ago that it happened. I don't know. I think, unfortunately, it's something of the past. That doesn't sound great, but I think my hope is that we've learned from that.
What should we have learned?
I don't know, to be prepared for anything, I think. It's sad, but we have to be ready. We can't just sit back and think, oh, this can't happen to us, because that's proof that it did, and it could again.
Okay. So, how old are you?
21.
So, 11 years ago, you were quite young.
Yes.
Do you remember 9/11?
Yes.
Were you old enough to be aware of what was going on?
Not to the extent I would have been if I was older, but I do remember what was going on. I had family in the armed services, and I think my family was mostly terrified that that meant something for them, and they were afraid for our country, but they were also afraid for my relatives too.
What goes through your mind today?
That I can't believe we're still trucking and standing, and it's amazing how strong we are and how we were able to recover.
Can I get your name?
Nicole.
Last name?
Corey.
Nicole Corey. You live in Albany?
Corvallis.
Corvallis, okay. All right. Can I get your name first of all?
Ellen Harmon.
What are your thoughts about 9/11?
Well, I think it shouldn't have happened. They had information that it was going to happen, and nobody did anything about it.
Have you flown on airlines since 9/11? Have noticed the additional security? Does that bother you?
I haven't been on a plane since 9/11.
Do you think we're doing enough to keep the country safe, or should we be doing more? What's your thoughts there?
I don't think we're doing anything to keep the country safe when we hire foreign nationals to patrol the borders. There's nothing safe about our borders.
Should we be doing no more as a country to remember those who died on 9/11?
I don't think there's a person in this United States who doesn't remember 9/11 and what they were doing at the time.
Okay, well, I appreciate your comments.
You bet.
Sir, can I visit with you a little bit?
I'll go for it.
What's your name?
Ben.
Ben? What's your last name, Ben?
Roten.
Ben, 9/11 is tomorrow. What goes through your mind as you think it's 9/11 and remember what happened on that fateful day?
I was going to work. I was a radio man for country coach, and I was on the big thing in the plant there where I worked.
So today, when you think about 9/11, what goes through your mind?
I know it's going to happen again.
Why do you think that?
I don't know, just a theory.
What's your name?
Are you sure you want to know?
Yeah, I want to know.
Beverly Horney.
Beverly. So 9/11 is tomorrow. What goes through your mind as we think about 9/11?
I wish we would have killed Bin Laden way before we did.
Should we be doing more now as a country to try to prevent terrorism, or is that even possible?
I think it's, well, I don't know. I think it's possible that we could do more.
What would you recommend? Any ideas?
If we had more American people checking our borders,
then we'd be safer?
Not the foreign people.
Okay. Any other thoughts? Sir, could I have your name?
Hundley Bergstead.
What goes through your mind as we remember 9/11?
Well, I remember the day it happened, certainly. Thought they were the stupidest people on the face of the earth.
The terrorists?
Yes.
Are we doing enough now to keep the country safe, or should we be doing more?
Well, I suspect whoever is doing it knows what they're doing.
Do you think 9/11 is going to happen again?
I seriously doubt it.
What's your name, first of all?
William Parsons.
William, do you remember what you were doing on 9/11 when you heard that fateful news?
We just got back from Alaska on a cruise a day before, and we was unpacking, and we just couldn't believe it, that
We had just got back and on such a vacation for a disaster like that to happen.
What goes through your mind today as you think about it?
Well, I can't really tell you anything except that it still was a disaster. That's about all I can say.
Think it's going to happen again?
No way. No way.
Do you think we're doing enough to keep the country safe?
Well, I'm not a defense man. I have no idea. I think they are.
What's your name, first of all?
Bill Gropp. But, you know, I just remember the horror of seeing it on television and just the feeling of it was unbelievable. It was just something I never thought could possibly happen to our country.
What goes through your mind today?
Well, I just hope that nothing will occur any place in the world that's similar to that. I know we got a lot of problems throughout the world, but I feel that we've learned a lesson as far as being open to that kind of a tragedy again, hopefully.
If you were talking to a member of the family of someone who died on that day, what would you tell them?
Well, you know, I would just express my sorrow. That's the only thing. I just feel that it's something that nobody expected to happen, and I'm just hope it never happens to anybody else.
Could I get your name, first of all?
Joe.
Joe, what goes through your mind as you remember 9/11?
Well, I was at work, and I called the wife to tell her about it because she didn't know it happened. She was getting ready to go to work. So it was rather a shock to me to hear that, and I passed that information on to her, and she was surprised and had not heard it. So, yeah, it was really a setback for a lot of folks, and I really feel for those people. I can't imagine what, you know, I wasn't there, so I can't imagine how that would turn out, how that was. It was just
Are you personally more afraid for your safety and your family's safety today than you were before 9/11?
No, I think they stepped the level up a little bit to where they're realizing they didn't have it, and I think they've probably improved that. So,
a lot of people complain about the increased airport security. What do you think?
I think that's good. It's improving on that too. Getting less intrusive, and I think it's going to be. Well, I just was there last week, and it was a lot better.
Anything you want to add? So as you think about it today, as you just sit here playing pool thinking about 9/11, what's going through your mind?
Well, I still think about the people and how they're recovering and living with that, and I just can't imagine how that.
That's a tough shot.
It's hard to fathom.
What's your name, first of all?
Debbie Wood.
You live here in Albany?
Yes.
Do you remember what you were doing on 9/11?
Working. I worked as a daycare provider.
So what was going through your mind when you heard the news of that terrible day?
I didn't know what to think. I thought the whole world was over. Didn't know what to think. All I was like, grabbed my kids and held them. I was like, I didn't know what to do.
Some people say they don't feel as safe now since 9/11. How do you feel?
The same. It's not as safe as it was. It's more about everybody in the Army. I just think everybody should come home. I think they should be here with their families.
Do you feel less safe now than you did before 9/11?
Yes.
Is there anything we can do as a country to improve our safety? Make it more safe?
I don't really know right now.
So what goes through your mind today? It's 11 years after 9/11. As people say, Patriots Day, 9/11, what goes through your mind?
Just I don't know, I live day by day, really. I'm a caregiver and just take care of the old people and live day by day and not scare them, and because they talk about it all the time. I just try not to remember.
So you don't worry about terrorists on a daily basis?
No, not really. No.
Get started. Get finished at Lynn Benton Community College.
After losing my job, I needed retraining for a career that was more stable. At LBCC, the positive support and open doors provided me the tools to build a foundation for my new career.
It taught me, most importantly, how I learned best. I would not be prepared to go to a four-year university without my previous experience at Lynn Benton Community College.
Get started, get finished at Lynn Benton Community College. Find out more at lynnbenton.edu.
The Osgood File, sponsored in part by Cassidy Turley, where excellence starts with market knowledge and ends with client success. Discover excellence in commercial real estate. Discover Cassidy Turley. This is Charles Osgood. When politicians act, there are always consequences, and not necessarily the intended ones. There's been a considerable flight of money out of some European countries in the current financial crisis. Rich Spaniards have been leaving Spain and taking their money with them. Now, Monsieur Bernard Arnault, the head of LVMH, the company that makes several of the most iconic French luxury products, including Louis Vuitton, Christian Dior, Moet Chandon, and Dom Perignon, whose $41 billion fortune makes him the richest man in Europe and the fourth richest man in the whole world, has now announced that he has applied for dual citizenship in Belgium. This has caused an uproar in France, as you'll hear after this. If you need to send a letter or a package, it doesn't mean you have to make a big production out of it, spending a lot of time and money and hassle. Well, I know a great way to avoid all that. You just use Stamps.com. Buy and print official U.S. postage with your own computer and printer. It's like having the post office right at your own desk. But Stamps.com is more than just stamps. It's your 24/7 solution for sending letters and packages. Stamps.com will even give you a digital scale so you can get the exact postage you need for any letter or package, and then the mailman picks it up. I've used Stamps.com in my office for years now. It's so easy and convenient. Get started in just minutes, and you'll see what I mean. Right now, since you listen to the Osgood File, Stamps.com has a special offer for you. It's a no-risk trial and a $110 bonus that includes the digital scale and up to $55 in free postage. So go to Stamps.com, click on the radio microphone at the top of the homepage, and type in my last name, Osgood, O-S-G-O-O-D. That's Stamps.com, and enter Osgood. Here's the thing. France's new president, François Hollande, is about to implement a 75% tax on incomes over €1 million. Belgium, where Monsieur Arnault has applied for dual citizenship, has a 50% maximum tax. Hollande is furious. He's questioning Arnault's patriotism. One French paper yesterday ran a picture of Arnault holding a suitcase with a headline reading, "Get lost, rich jerk." His company has issued a statement saying Arnault will sue the paper for public insult. Hollande is not the first socialist president named Francois that Arnault has crossed swords with. He moved to the United States in 1981 when President François Mitterrand swept to power and returned to France when tax policies were more to his liking. The French are still reeling over British Prime Minister Cameron's recent promise to roll out the red carpet for any French companies that decide to relocate in the UK. France's former Conservative Prime Minister, François Fillon, says this will spread like wildfire all over the planet. Hollande once famously said, "I dislike the rich." One rich guy in particular, I would imagine right now. The Osgood File. This is Charles Osgood on the CBS Radio Network.
Diversifying your investment portfolio can help prepare you for unexpected changes in the market, but it may not prepare you for unexpected changes in your life, like buying a house or retiring early, things that can have a big impact on your investments. Fortunately, a free Edward Jones portfolio review can help make sure your portfolio is still balanced and in sync with your financial goals. To find out more, contact Leo Smith, your Edward Jones advisor, or call 451-4402. Edward Jones, making sense of investing.
When you need the job done, you want the powerhouse of engineering, reliability, and value that is Kubota. And right now, during Kubota's 40-year strong celebration, you can get 0% APR financing on select new L-Series tractors with reproductive transmissions, including the innovative HST Plus. Go to Kubota.com or see Lynn Benton Tractor in Silverton or Tangent. Kubota is 40 years strong serving the American dream, and Lynn Benton Tractor is still doing business the American way.
Granny Smith, Fuji, Valencia. Oh, hi, AAA guy here down at my local grocer's, comparing apples to oranges, which by no coincidence brings me to an important message. These days, nearly everyone has a roadside service plan to sell you, but they're not all the same. See, some plans only cover your new car, but AAA covers you throughout the U.S. and Canada, no matter which car you're in. And while others may sound free, you can end up paying for services, but AAA makes it easy. Usually you just sign and go. Oh, plus, get this. With a AAA card, you get hundreds of discounts. In fact, you can easily save enough to pay for your membership. No wonder AAA is the pick of the crop. Whoops! Clean up on aisle 1.
Careful, AAA guy. This is Jackie from AAA, reminding you that by showing your AAA card, you can save on travel, lodging, shopping, and more. All while enjoying the peace of mind that AAA is famous for. Just call 1-800-JOIN-AAA or visit AAA.com today.
AAA Oregon. Membership means more.
Get tomorrow's news tonight. John Batchelor, Sunday through Friday nights on Smart Talk 1580.
On this Patriots Day, I'm Dave Adams, KGAL's Valley Talk. You know, we honor the memory of those who gave their lives on this fateful day 11 years ago to advance the cause of freedom, to defend this nation against an attack. Some people stood up in an airliner and took over that airliner and gave their lives to stop an attack of evil on this nation. Sometimes all we have to do is get up out of our seats and go out and vote. And by doing so, we honor the memory of those soldiers that are serving our armed forces right now overseas in Iraq, Afghanistan, and other points. And we honor the memory of those who stood up on that airliner and gave their lives to stop an attack on this nation. If we don't get involved, and if we don't exercise our democratic right to be involved in the process of running this nation, we dishonor their memory. I have a friend, Jeff Jimerson, who is involved in a voter registration Sunday that is getting Christians engaged in voting. Voting is something we all should do, whether we're Christian or not. As Americans, as people who live in this country, we honor the memory of those who defend our freedoms by exercising the freedom they fight and die to protect. So, Jeff, glad to have you on Valley Talk today.
Hey, Dave. Thanks for having me.
Voter registration Sundays. What's that all about?
Well, it's a pretty simple concept. There are dozens and dozens of churches in the Corvallis, Albany, and beyond areas, and I just want to really encourage people who are part of their local church to do what they can to get those in the pews next to them registered to vote. And, you know, there's easy ways to do that. Lots of tools, and this is just really not a difficult thing. And the main point is there are just hundreds and, should I say, thousands of Christians in our local community here who are eligible to vote but are not either registered to vote or they're not actively registered to vote. And I just want to help bring up those numbers.
I do too. It was interesting to me and kind of disappointing. I was involved in an interview at the Albany post office, and there was a person getting signatures for a petition drive, and 20% of the people that walked past him that were living in the city of Albany, that were going to the post office that day, weren't registered to vote and didn't want to get involved in the process because they said, almost to a person, my vote doesn't count. They're not listening to me. That's disappointing to me. We have to stand up and be counted, and we can't disengage from the process.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much potential out there is what I see. I see opportunity. I see elections being passed or lost, measures being passed, elections being won based on just really thin margins. And, you know, you think about the number of people who could have influence over who are our elected officials. What ballot measures do we want to see passed this coming November? And you know what? We have within our ranks, within the Christian community specifically, we have enough people who could have a significant influence in the direction of how these votes go. And it's just missed opportunity is what I see.
Yeah, the voter registration Sunday is not an effort to argue the position of any candidate or measure. It's just saying, folks, engage, register to vote, and then go out and vote, correct?
Yeah. I mean, so we've got 6 Sundays between now and the voter registration deadline in Oregon, which is Tuesday, October 16th. So we got 6 Sundays to hand out voter registration cards, to simply give people the opportunity to not pass up the chance to vote this November. And a lot of people aren't aware, but there's an easy way to register to vote online. So at the Secretary of State's website, OregonVotes.gov. OregonVotes.org. It's www.oregonvotes.org. If you've got a driver's license, you can register to vote in 2 minutes. And if you've moved and you don't know if your ballot's even going to come in the mail, go there, fill out this information, and get yourself updated in 2 minutes. You can also go to any county elections office and pick up a stack of voter registration cards, take those to church or wherever you're going to do voter registration. And, those resources are just free. Just go get them, hand them out, make sure people have opportunity to fill those out.
So, Jeff, if a pastor is listening or a deacon or a member of a church, what do they have to do to get involved in voter registration Sunday? What are the details?
It's just simply making a decision. Do I want to give church members an opportunity to vote this November and be a part of that process? So there's nothing to sign up. There's no forms to fill out. You just need to make a decision and do it. I do want to encourage specifically pastors and leaders in local churches to also consider another opportunity to go beyond just voter registration, and that is to really establish a salt and light citizenship ministry in your local church. And this is simply a way for the people, Christians, to really represent our Judeo-Christian heritage through responsible citizenship. And voter registration and voting are a part of that. So there is an excellent opportunity, if I could put a little plug in for this organization.
Sure, go ahead.
Salt and Light Council is having a training session on Saturday, September 22nd. It's going to be in Salem at Salem First Baptist Church from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. So again, that's Saturday, September 22nd. And you can get all the details on that at oregon.saltandlightcouncil.org. So that's saltandlightcouncil.org. And this is something I personally participated in several weeks ago in a different training in a different city. And just highly recommend it as a method for getting the local church involved in being real representative citizens and not just passive citizens, but actually participating in these important processes.
Jeff, I think so often Christians disengage from the world. They see so much evil going on there in the world, and they tend to kind of withdraw. In some ways, some of them feel like they can't make a difference, and so we simply kind of get back into the church, which is great to be in church, but it's also something that we need to do is to engage and get involved in reaching our communities and showing that we truly care.
Yeah, and there's a scripture that has really stuck to me recently from the book of Proverbs. It says, "When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when a wicked man rules, the people groan." So, electing officials, whether it be a president or a senator or governor or anyone, on down the line, electing people with integrity and good morals and people who will represent us is not just to benefit, the Christian community. We're not just out to benefit ourselves. It's something that really affects the entire state and nation. So by exercising our right to vote, we're having an impact not just on ourselves and what affects me, but also what affects my family and what affects my neighbors and what affects my schools. So, this is a very unselfish, really, thing to do, is to take a few minutes to get registered to vote, take a few more minutes and fill out your voter registration card, and actually go and vote when that comes in the mail, because this is really investing into other people's lives. So, if you don't even care enough to vote for your own sake, think about how your vote can have an influence on other people's lives.
Mm-hmm. So if you want to set up a voter registration or voter registration Sunday at your church, one option would be to set up a table with voter registration cards, maybe have a laptop if you want to go that far, to offer immediate online registration, and have the pastor or somebody who makes announcements say it's voter registration Sunday. We encourage you to vote. We're not telling you how to vote, but we do want to get you involved in the process. So that's one option.
Jeff,
Go ahead.
There's another great resource online. It's called commit2vote2012.com. So commit, number 2, vote2012.com. And lots of great resources, posters, bulletin inserts, things that pastors can and cannot do. So just, spend a few minutes online and you'll find all sorts of great resources for how to set up a voter registration drive at your church.
I was just thinking of an idea for a church if they want to pick up on it. As we were sitting here talking, wouldn't it be great if maybe a Salt and Light ministry at a church, they just got a group of people together and they went around and knocked on doors with voter registration cards, said, hey, I'm Sandy or Jim from First Avenue Church, and we're just here to encourage you to vote and to get registered to vote, and here's a voter registration card. Bless you for doing that, and do it in a way that they're not encouraging a position or a measure or a candidate, but just say, we want you to get involved in the process. And the community would see a church that's engaged in the community and involved and truly cares.
And offering a service to the community. And again, this voting is something that impacts you and your neighbors and your whole entire community. So, going out and encouraging that, I think that's a fantastic idea.
And remember, a few votes do make a difference. Hitler was put into power by one vote. One person made the difference. And that charted the course for the planet. That was a very, very dark day in our history. And one vote made the difference. So when I think of stories like that and others, there's been presidential elections in this nation where just a scant few votes made the difference. And so time and time again, I see people that are discouraged by the news that just say, well, I'm going to send a message to Washington, D.C. or whatever because I'm just not going to vote, and I'm going to send a message. You're not sending any message that way at all. No message. They're not getting it. You have to get involved. You have to go to the ballot box, and you have to make your statement there.
Absolutely. And even beyond that, even folks who are good, have good intentions, and they think, yeah, I'll vote, when the time comes. I think I'm registered. According to Barna research, 14% of American adults who think they're registered to vote are not actually even registered to vote. So, don't work on assumptions. If you want to be a part of that process, go to OregonVotes.org and just register again. It doesn't hurt to register twice. Just do it again. Make sure that your information is up to date. If you're a student, if you've moved recently, if you've gotten married and your name changed, it takes just a few minutes. And if you did change your name, you are going to need to fill out a card because they're going to need to get your new autograph. But if you've got a driver's license with your new married name on it, your autograph is on there, then you can do that right online at OregonVotes.org.
And, of course, today is Patriots Day, and I want to stress that we honor the memory of those who died. There were people that were on an airliner on this day 11 years ago that they were just going about their business, going to work, going to family, going to business meetings, and they were put in a position where they had to make a choice. And they chose to stand up and be counted and in their lives to stop the advance of tyranny. They got up out of their seats and took an action. They had to make the ultimate sacrifice. We honor their memory by getting up out of our chair, registering to vote, and exercising the freedom that they died to protect. So on this Patriots Day, we honor their memory by getting involved in the process. Jeff, thank you for talking to us today on Valley Talk.
Hey, Dave. Thanks so much for having me.
Do you have a family member with Alzheimer's, dementia, or memory-related symptoms? Regent Court Memory Care can be your source to learn more about how you can help that loved one by attending their educational series. On September 12th, from 3 to 4 p.m., senior real estate specialist Sue Long will be presenting Downsizing Your Home at the Corvallis Public Library, 645 Northwest Monroe. Free to the public. Call Dennis Dunmeyer or Becca Hosner for more info at 541-758-8000. That's 758-8000 because Regent Court cares.
It's time to get more from your employee benefits. That's why it's time for United Healthcare. You want quality coverage at the right price. We can help with a broad set of products including dental, vision, disability, accident, life, and critical illness plans. And when you add medical coverage, you may save time with easier administration. Call your broker today or visit uhc.com. Medical, dental, vision, accident, and critical illness coverage provided by or through United Healthcare Insurance Company or its affiliates. Critical illness and accident may not be available in all states. Life and disability products provided by United Healthcare Insurance Company, Unamerica Life Insurance Company, and Unamerica Life Insurance Company of New York. Administrative services provided by United Healthcare Services Inc. or its affiliates.
Listen up, everybody. This is Flo with a Progressive Insurance Alert. Don't even try to change that channel. I'm on all of them. So, you already know Snapshot rewards our customers for their good driving. Well, now anyone can test drive Snapshot for free, even if you have insurance with another company. See how much you could save before you switch your insurance. Also, I'm offering kazoo lessons on Saturdays.
Test drive Snapshot today. Visit progressive.com/snapshot. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Snapshot not available in all states.
Did your cooling bills go through the roof this summer? Then it's time to take action before your heating bills do the same. Economy Supply Building Center can help you stop wasting energy today and start saving money. Simply call 541-258-7107 and ask about Atticat, the expanding blown-in pink fiberglass insulation from Owens Corning. You could save up to 20% on your home's energy costs and increase the comfort of your home year-round. Get Atticat insulation at Economy Supply Building Center, where Highway 34 becomes Tangent Street in Lebanon.
It's time to get ready, Albany. If a natural disaster hits our area, we want you and your family to be prepared. Join us Saturday, September 29th for an event that will help you get ready. Northwest Natural will be joined by the American Red Cross, Albany Police and Fire Departments, Lynn County Medical Reserve Corps, and Community Emergency Response Team, Oregon Local Emergency Planning Communities, and Oregon Freeze Dry to give away safety items and a free lunch. The first 100 families will also receive a free Red Cross emergency kit. It's all taking place on Saturday, September 29th from 11 a.m. until 1 p.m. at Eleanor Hackelman Park. Join Northwest Natural and your neighbors to get ready, Albany.
Another brilliant season is coming. The Oregon Symphony 2012-2013 season in Salem is set, and season tickets and single concert tickets are available now. The magnificent Oregon Symphony, featuring internationally known guest artists without a trip to Portland. The Oregon Symphony Association in Salem proudly presents the series of concerts at Willamette University. 5 regular concerts and 3 special concerts. Carlos Calmer and guest conductors and artists present masterpieces such as Tchaikovsky's Pathetique Symphony, Dvorak's Symphony No. 8, and Beethoven's Emperor Concerto, featuring celebrated piano virtuoso Andre Watts. Special concerts include the incredible Canadian tenors. Enjoy world-class music right here in Salem. Save by purchasing a series of concerts. The Oregon Symphony in Salem 2012-2013 Classical Series begins in October, and tickets are going fast. Call now 503-364-0149 or link from KGAL.com or kshow.net.
Through September, Figaro's in Albany has the Santa Fe barbecue chicken. Tender cuts of chicken, dull pineapple, fresh onions, and sun-ripened tomatoes, all atop their signature barbecue sauce. Now at a special price. Enjoy the tangy deliciousness of the Southwestern favorite right in your own home from Albany's Figaro's in front of Fred Meyer. And ask about their gluten-free crust. Call 541-924-9303. Figaro's.
Jim Bohannon, weeknights on News Talk 1580, KGAL.
So today is the 11th anniversary of 9/11, a moment to pause and reflect on what this day means to be an American. That we need to honor the memory of those who are fighting and dying today, who are serving in uniform overseas to fight the battle against oppression and tyranny. To remember those who on this continent, on this country, in this country, stood up 11 years ago and were counted. People that 11 years ago ran up into burning buildings that collapsed on top of them. We don't know all of the answers about everything that happened on that day, but there were some very, very brave individuals that answered the call when the alarm was sounded and ran up into the Twin Towers to save others, and by so doing, hundreds, thousands of people lost their lives. We need to honor their memory. Tomorrow in this time slot, we're going to be having Vet Talk with Victor Coons. We're going to be talking about the Veterans Day Parade, the largest Veterans Day parade west of the Mississippi, and that happens in Albany, Oregon. I'm Dave Adams with Valley Talk. We are interested in your comments on the program and future topics. You can send me an email at dave@kgal.com. Thanks for listening. Be blessed on this Patriots Day.
Locally owned and operated, this is the very independent News Talk 1580 KGAL, Lebanon, Albany, Corvallis.